Good day everyone, I'm Arliza Jane D. Medina and my topic is DNA fingerprinting. So let us know the lesson outline of my topic. First is definition of DNA fingerprinting, uses of DNA fingerprinting, and fingerprint test. What is DNA fingerprinting? DNA fingerprinting is a chemical test that shows the genetic makeup of a person or other living things. It is used as evidence in courts to identify bodies, track down bloods, relatives, and to look cure for disease. Yan. So, DNA fingerprinting is very useful. It is used in everyday life from our bodies to cure diseases and to other living things. How is DNA used in everyday life? So aside from its medical uses, the fact that DNA is unique to each individual makes it a vital forensic tool identifying criminals, the remains of a missing person, and determining the biological parent of a child. Within agriculture, DNA is also used to improve animal, livestock, and plants. Ayan, so gamit na gamit to kapag, iba example is kapag may gusto tayong malaman kung nadududa tayo kung anak ba talaga yung isang bata or siya ba talaga yung anak mo, yung nanay mo. Pag napa-DNA test natin, yan, magiging panatag tayo kasi sobrang legit ng pag-check ng DNA test. So next is DNA in forensic science. DNA fingerprinting is an essential tool in forensic science. It does not precisely determine the suspect's identity but helps narrow it down. Ayan, so yung picture dito na example is yung blood stain, suspect number 1, 2, and 3. So sa mga hindi sure kung sino dyan talaga yung suspect, pag napa-DNA test mo or napa-blood stain mo, yan, makakita mo kung kanino siya nakatugma. Yan. So, dito sa picture base dito, sa suspect number 3 siya. Okay. So, sino nga bang nakadiscover nito? So, James Watson and Francis Crick. In 1953, they concluded that the DNA molecule appears as a three-dimensional double helix. So, Watson and Crick were not the discoverers of DNA, so hindi sila yung nag-discover, but rather the first scientists to formulate an accurate description of this molecule's complex, the double helical structure. So, yung nakikita nyo dito sa gilid, ayan, sila, in-identify nila yung ganitong structure ng molecules. Ayan, yung ganito, yung double helix, yan, paikot-ikot na ganyan. So, this discovery of molecule structure by Watson and Crick it is created by Rosalinda Franklin using a technique called X-ray crystallography. It revealed the helical shape of the DNA molecule. So, characteristics of DNA. Alam niyo ba yung DNA? So, yung DNA, yung meaning nito is deoxyribonucleic acid. It is made of nucleotide monomers. So, DNA double helix. So, it consists of two nucleotide chains. Each nucleotide consists of a sugar molecule, a phosphate group, and a nitrogen-containing base. So, yan. May papakita akong video at picture mamaya. Yan. So, ayan. Play ko na yung video.
What is DNA fingerprinting or DNA profiling? Leicester University geneticist Alec Jeffreys developed a technique called DNA fingerprinting in 1985. It allows DNA samples from different people to be compared to look for similarities and differences. It's used for solving crimes and can also confirm if people are related to each other, like in paternity testing. Any two people in the world have 99.9% of their DNA the same, so this process analyzes the differences in the remaining 0.1%. This modern technology is called DNA profiling. It's a very sensitive technique which only needs a few skin cells, a hair root, or a tiny amount of blood or saliva. There are sections, or loci, of chromosomes, where instead of a gene consisting of a long sequence of bases, there are much shorter sequences of 3, 4, or 5 bases that are repeated many times. For example, these repeated sequences are called short tandem repeats, or STR. At these places on the chromosomes where we find these STRs, there are areas that vary in number of repeats. DNA profiling only looks at these STRs. A cell sample is collected. This could be from some blood at a crime scene, or a swab from the inside of someone's cheek, for example. The DNA is then extracted from the sample. Many copies of this DNA may be made using the polymerase chain reaction, or PCR. Special enzymes called restriction endonucleases are used to cut the DNA up into different size pieces. The DNA samples are then put into wells in a special gel called agarose for the process of gel electrophoresis, which separates the DNA fragments by size. The pattern is then transferred to a nylon sheet in southern blotting. And finally, the lines produced by the DNA samples from different people are compared. So let's have a go at using DNA profiles to solve some mysteries. An item was stolen in a burglary. A drop of blood was left behind by the thief. Samples of DNA were taken from 4 suspects and compared to the sample left at the crime scene. Which suspect is guilty? Here's a clue. Look for the one that is most similar to the one from the crime scene. Pause the video while you decide. Suspect 3 is guilty. Can you see how the pattern of bands matches in suspect 3 and the crime scene? Their DNA is the same.
Okay, so next is uses of DNA fingerprinting. So since it was invented in 1984, DNA fingerprinting most often has been used in court cases and legal matters. It can be physically connect to a piece of evidence, a person, or rule out someone as a suspect. Show who your parents, siblings, and other relatives may be, or identify dead bodies if that's too old or damaged to be recognized. Ayan, so na-explain ko na siya kanina sa second slide. So it also has medical uses. So it can match tissues of organ donors with those of people who need transplants, identify diseases that are passed down through your family, help find cures for those diseases called hereditary conditions. So dito, pag nag-DNA test tayo, makokonect natin dito yung mga namana nating sakit sa mga kamag-anak natin. So dito rin, yung mga tissue organs, kapag same kayo nung donor, so pwede niyang i-donate yun at maging i-transplant niya na sa'yo yun. Okay, so next is DNA characteristics. DNA is made of nucleotide monomers. So meron tayong 4 bases. So yung first is adenosine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. So DNA function. DNA stores an organism's genetic information. So ito yung sa picture, ito yung 4 bases ng DNA characteristics. Yan. So ang base pairs is adenine and thymine. And yung next one is guanine and cytosine. Ayan. Yan nandito yung colors para hindi tayo malito. So yung helix, yung dalawa, yung double helix na paikot, ayan yung nakikita nyo. Yung naka-arrow dyan is, yun yung sugar phosphate backbone. So next, fingerprint test. So to get your DNA fingerprint, you would give a sample of cells from your body. This can come from a swab inside your mouth, from your skin, the roots of your hair, or your saliva, sweat, or other body fluids. Blood is usually the easiest way. Lab workers treat the sample with chemicals to separate the DNA, which is then dissolved in water. Ayan, so paano nga ba sinasagawa yung fingerprinting or yung DNA fingerprint test? So, ang ginagawa dito, hihingan tayo diba ng blood test. Ayan, gagawan tayo ng blood test or swab test yung ginagawa natin para makuha na nila tayo ng laway, ng dugo, or pwede rin naman yung buhok. Yan, yung roots ng hair. Doon, ma-identify natin yung DNA test natin. Dito nila sinasagawa yung procedure. So, yung mga lab workers, tinitreat nila yung mga sample at hahaluan pa nila ito ng ibang chemicals para ma-separate yung DNA, which is, nadidissolve pa to sa water. Yeah. So, ang conclusion ng topic ko is, DNA evidence is easy to obtain because genetic material is found in all human cells, save red blood cells. As a result, when we leave behind small biological bits of ourselves, these bits can be used to identify us and link us to the place we've been. Yan. Madali nating nasasagawa yung mga DNA test dahil lahat naman tayo ay may mga DNA cells. At sa pamamagitan nito, yung mga nag-overthink, di ba, yung mga gano'n na hindi ako yung anak, hindi ako yung nanay, pag nag-DNA test kayo, ayan, magniwala kayo kasi 99.9% nito is totoo. Dahil ang dami nating napapanood, di ba? Kapag may mga gusto silang makita, gusto nilang ma-legitimate yung pagiging parent nila or pagiging anak nila, kung sila ba yun. Ay, yung mga crime scenes, ayan, sa pamamagitan nito, nagagamit ito. Okay, so therefore, I'm concluding this topic about DNA fingerprinting, and I hope that I have shared and I have given you some knowledge about this topic. Thank you for listening. That's all. Thank you.